He said to me, I wanted to see how big you were and how strong you are.
I went online to get the logo done.
Because we couldn't have a weak woman working for us.
So the first logo that came back for me was of some kind of fairly scantily clad woman with a tool belt.
Most people can count on one hand, if that, the amount of times they've had a female tradesperson round to come and fix the boiler or sort out the electrics. Even though it's a career that pays way more than traditionally female jobs like hairdressing or care work. But there are women in Bristol that are bucking the trend, and I went to talk to them to find out what it's like to be a woman working on the tools.
Hi there. Nice to meet you. Come on in.
When 1,000 children aged 4 to 8 were recently asked what they thought the top jobs for men and women were, they came back with builder for men and hairdresser and beautician for women.
I was the only woman in all 4 years.
There was about 15 students, all male except for me.
Was quite surprised to be the only female on that course actually, and probably a intake of maybe 100 people. Rufus has run a competition every year for Tradesman of the Year. I think it's about 2014, 2015 they changed it to Tradesperson of the Year, which was wow, amazing. But through the process it was interesting, they were still obviously using old literature that had tradesman on it rather than tradesperson. You need to be a little bit more aware of the language that you're using, because if you use exclusive language, you are going to exclude people from it.
Your average trade job pays around 40k a year. That's almost double to what pink-collar jobs like care work or hairdressing pay. Women continue to draw the short straw.
There aren't many women coming into the trades, certainly at a young age, because it's not very attractive, and it's probably not pushed at school in the way that other jobs are. To go and do an apprenticeship at the age of 16, if you're the only girl in a class of however many young lads, it's not very attractive.
I was singled out within the first sort of 5 minutes of our very first lesson. The tutor was trying to give some kind of example about ratios and pointed to me out of the class and asked in a sort of assumed rhetorical tone, "You like baking, don't you?" I was reassured several times by my course tutor that it doesn't matter how weedy I am, I can do it, when I hadn't expressed any concerns about being able to do it or not.
The route into plumbing was really difficult, and I needed to find a company to take me on as an apprentice, and being that I was 31 at the time, you don't get given the same grants as you do if you're a school leaver. It probably took me about 6 months to try and find a company to take me on. Me being a woman did probably put a barrier there. I had this one guy, he said that he wasn't allowed to have a woman working with him because his wife wouldn't let him work with a woman.
The construction industry is one of the country's largest contributors to the economy. That, coupled with a skills shortage, means there's heaps of opportunities. Despite that, women make up as little as 1% of people in the construction trade working on the tools.
So generally we'd rather not work in building sites or do any commercial work for the simple fact that it's all about men, and either they feel really intimidated or they feel like we're really inferior to them.
Yes, yeah. And we get the belittling kind of comments.
The guy, the foreman of the site, opened the door to me and basically just laughed at me. And when I said that I was there to be a labourer, and said, well, you better get the kettle on. So I told him I was here to work and not get the kettle on, and by the end of it, he was begging me to stay.
Negative reactions are part of everyday life, I think. Members of the public will, when they see that you're a woman doing a job that they don't expect a woman to be doing, will make some slightly patronising comments like, "Oh, well done."
Unfortunately, dealing with these attitudes is just part of the job, but the tide is changing. For the women I spoke to, the positive experiences far outweighed the negative. There's a definite demand for women in trades.
The lady I'm working for this week, she said she had 8 men working for her last year, and she felt really scared because they were really bossy and demanding.
The trust was there straight away.
Straight away, she gave me a key.
I've had really, really positive responses. People just kind of want to champion you, really.
The demand is constant, really high.
But it's not only the customers that benefit. The thing about women in trades is that it's a flexible, rewarding, well-paid and often creative career choice.
I'm a very practical person. I like working with my hands.
Because you can be your own boss.
I would love to encourage more young girls to come and consider it as an option. Greater visibility is going to make a huge difference.
If you can't see an example of yourself, you don't imagine it for yourself. For young women starting out in the trade, I think there's been no better time.
I've never thought that in 3 years we would have, we would come up with a business name and we would have all this work and flexible, good money.
No day's ever the same.
I got into shops wearing this and she's like, oh, women decorators. She said, oh my God, it would be so good to see more of it. It's about time.
I do get asked by customers if I do know a female tiler or a female plumber or whatever. But I'm frustrated because we don't network as well as we should. So it would be great if we could, I don't know, get some Facebook page, a website or something together which will raise visibility, and then slowly we can grow.
These women don't have time to wait for the funny looks or patronising comments to stop. Changing stereotypes is a process that will take generations. By leading by example and succeeding in their trades, they're proving that women are cut out for a career on the tools. And as their businesses grow, they offer opportunities for more women to get a foothold in the sector. The more men, women, boys and girls start seeing females fixing the boilers or working on the electrics, the less unusual it will become. And the sooner that happens, the sooner gender will stop having such an influence on the career choices and salaries boys and girls can make.